going to begin in whichever position suits you best. So generally in the end, we want to take it easy and relax. So you might lay down or come to just a really comfortable seat. You could even sit up with your back against a wall on a cushion, anywhere that you like. So find a nice, comfortable position to begin in any style that suits you. Making sure that the body is really relaxed and comfortable. So rearrange the hips and shoulders, get a little bit of space, and start to settle into whatever position you'd like to begin. And as you let your body soften and settle, take a nice long deep breath in and open the mouth to exhale. Do 2 more like that. All the way in, a big breath. And all the way out, a big sigh. 1 more deep breath in. And a big release. And then let yourself just soften and settle. Start to relax the forehead. Soften the eyelids. And jaw, lips, relax. Feel even a softness like at the back of your skull, like everything softens a little. No tension or holding there. And let that softness slide down through your whole body. Like any holding of the shoulders up by the ears becomes heavier, softer, and more relaxed. Like any tension in the belly or in the chest or in the ribs could softly dissipate as the breath floats in and out. Let the arms from the shoulders to the fingers be heavy and soft. Hips relax, all the muscles wrapping around the edges. And a certain heaviness through the lower body. So the whole body is becoming more and more relaxed. And then in this softness, start to notice your breath. The rise and fall, the chest and the belly as the breath comes naturally in and out. There's something quite simple and yet so profound about tuning into your body, inviting in relaxation, and noticing the breath. So give yourself this opportunity to just be here and to use these skills of feeling the body, inviting in softness, and paying attention to the breath. To give you this space where everything else fades away and you're only here. Spend a few moments here with yourself, with nothing to do except to be here and breathe here. Can you just be here with yourself fully? Not needing to change anything, not needing anything to be any different at all. The breath just does its thing. The body just does its thing. And you're watching gently. An embodied sense of ease and presence as you just watch your breath. A few more rounds here. Without force, invite the breath to gently deepen. Like you could take your time with the inhale, interested in how it fills up the lungs, how it expands through the belly and the side ribs. Paying such close attention that you can notice the exact moment where the inhale becomes an exhale. And being thoroughly engaged with the breath as it spins back all the way out into the space around you. Notice as you pay attention to your breath that you're just here. Stay in this easy sense of connection, paying attention to your breath as we go through every pose of the practice. And in those moments where your mind inevitably travels away, give yourself the opportunity to come back to your breath, to reconnect to this easy state of presence. Take just a few more rounds of breath here. Softly in, slowly out, fully present to feel the breath. Take one more round of breath in. You might even sigh the exhale through the mouth. And from wherever you are, start to breathe a little deeper, more fully, so you can stretch, wriggle, and eventually come up to a seated position. But take your time. There's never a rush in any of the yin practice, even in transitions. And once you make your way up, hot tip, if you don't already have a pillow, grab one now so that you can support yourself through the practice and create a little more sense of comfort. Our first pose is going to be a stretch for the soles of the feet. It's one of my favorites. So as you come to a kneeling position, tuck your toes under and make a special note to get even the pinky toes tucked. Now, if you know you have really sensitive feet, you might put a pillow between your hips and your heels. But if you can, you sit the weight back onto your heels, and you can even take the knees a little further forward. But let the stretch in the soles of the feet give you this sense of felt experience of being here. Like it might feel like burn or warmth or tingling or something. Definitely something. Definitely not nothing. So let yourself sink into that feeling, not just for the sake of stretching the soles of the feet, which is by itself really beneficial, because all of the connective tissue in the body wraps down and connects at the feet. So as you open up the soles of the feet, you're opening up the whole line in your body. But also, as you tune into sensation, you can give yourself that moment to breathe through it. You're reinforcing this sense of resilience and capacity to become present no matter what's going on. If you need to come out of it at all, just lift the hips a little, lean the weight forward a little. But if you can, keep the bend in the toes, the stretch in the soles for just a few more breaths. You notice I've been talking a lot for this 2 minutes that we've been here already. Hopefully distracting you enough that you can breathe through. Feel into the moment and relax a little through the feet. Just a few more breaths. You've got this. Think about the space you're creating and take just 2 more slow breaths. All the way in, all the way out. Last breath in. Long exhale to empty. And then nice and slowly lean forward, plant your hands, and then kick out the feet. You might tap the tops of the feet down. You might roll the ankles. Do anything that feels good there. In between each of the poses in the practice, we'll reset with movement and then with stillness. So take a little bit of time to move, to release whatever was feeling tense. And here in this tabletop position, you might even dip and arch through the spine or roll through the hips and the shoulders, getting a little bit of mobility and space through the body. Just for a few breaths, pause in stillness. And then when you're ready, you could shift to child's pose, lay flat on your belly, or come to a kneeling seat. Anywhere that you can pause for about a minute to just rebound and reset. Once you're ready for stillness, find your and soften into it. Just a few slow breaths. Notice any sensation of release. Notice the movement of the breath. And use this noticing to be here with yourself. Not to distract or distance, but to be all the way here with your body and your breath. And then as you're ready, make your way to a seated. Our first shape is called double pigeon. And there's lots of different variations. So have a look and then decide which one suits you. And of course, if you know it, feel free to go straight into it. So here we'll come down to a seat on the hips. And you'll cross your right leg over your left with the shins stacking parallel to the front of the mat. And you want to try and get your right ankle all the way up and over your left knee. Toes flex towards the shins a little just to stabilize through the knee. And if your right knee is way up in space, you might draw your left heel back towards you to give a little bit more space. Or if it's really inaccessible and it feels terrible, give yourself the space to release the left leg straight forward and drop the right knee up to the side in this kind of figure four position. And if you feel like you're sort of leaning back, you could always pop a pillow underneath your hips. A little bit of elevation through the hips is always nice to create a little bit of length in the lower back, a little bit of space. So any formation of the legs, as long as your right knee is bent on top, winging open. And then readjusting until you find a nice stretch. You can stay up tall, that might be plenty. If you've got space to lean a little forward or to bow all the way forward, please. Wherever you go, take a sense of ease with you into the stretch. And then pause to be here. This yin practice is an opportunity to reset and repattern the connective. When you hold for a few minutes at a time and soften the target area, so here, the right hip. It starts to get deeper into the connective tissue, rehydrating, repatterning, creating a greater sense of mobility and space. But more than that, when you spend a few minutes in a pose, you kind of have nowhere to go except to be here with yourself. And I don't know about you, but I'm finding for me, life's kind of like that at the moment. Like all the things we used to do that were distracting in some sense, like going out, like always being out and about and shopping and eating and drinking and doing all the things that we were doing before socializing, has now been limited. And there's even just a little bit more downtime. Whether it's that you're not commuting anymore, you're working from home, or you've just got a little bit more space or silence without all the socializing. There's this sense that you could spend that time finding new Netflix shows, like I'm doing, or maybe for some of it, just a little. You could spend it getting to know yourself better. Spending it in practices like these that you're choosing to be here now. To feel your way into your body, to deepen that sense of connection and understanding. You could spend time going on walks by yourself with just one other person. Less time indoors at gyms or shopping centers. Perhaps more time in stillness or in nature. And you can take that opportunity to get to know yourself better. The Buddhists have a practice called Maitri, and it's an unconditional friendliness towards yourself. And I like to think of it like becoming your own best friend. So, when you're getting to know someone, you ask them lots of questions, you get to know them, get to understand them, get to go a little bit deeper into why they are the way they are. So spend a little time as you stretch out here, paying attention to what it's like to be here, to how your breath is behaving, to how your body is reacting. You've just got 2 or 3 more breaths to be here with yourself and breathe through. Take 1 more breath in. A long breath out. And gently walk your hands back if you're folded forward. You can bring your hands back behind you. Get the legs a little shake. Ooh, notice which leg is on top, just in case you did the opposite. So do the next leg next. Give the legs a little shake, a little bit of movement. Reset for just a few breaths. And then we'll head into the second side, and then we'll take a nice rebound for balance. So as you give your legs a little shake, this time it's the right knee that bends towards the left ankle, comes up and over the right knee, toes flexed. Your choice. The right heel can draw in towards you to create a little bit more space, or the right leg can extend all the way out in front of you, keeping just the left leg in a figure 4 position. And of course, you can always sit up on a pillow to offer your lower back and hips a little bit more space. So whatever you've chosen, snuggle in to yourself. And then maybe you fold forward, maybe you stay upright. Stay here, breathe here, and be here. Life in analogies. And this yin practice is very similar in theory to things that are happening in the world potentially, or ways that we react when we have to stay somewhere that we don't necessarily really enjoy. So in this instance, you might not really love sitting in a hip stretch for 4 minutes. But if you're going to be here, what do you want to do with that time? You want to just suffer through, wait for it to be over, and complain or blame or stress? I mean, those are natural reactions. That's fine. But maybe you want to spend this time aware of your reactions, learning how to create softness in moments of tension, learning how to support yourself through the depth of your breath, and an invitation to soften. Every moment you get to choose. If you're going to be here in this moment of your life anyway, what do you want to do with that time? There's absolutely nothing wrong with, a bit of Netflix, distracting yourself a little in moments that you're feeling overwhelmed or like you just can't be bothered. Everything is fun. But occasionally, if you like, you might just think, what could I do with this moment? What can I learn from this moment? Or how can I move through this with a little bit more space, a little bit more ease? And I reckon the way to do that is to get to know yourself better. That unconditional friendliness towards yourself, being your own best friend. Because here you might notice like you're struggling. And if you were talking to your best friend who's struggling, you'd give them some advice. Take a few deep breaths. Trust yourself, back yourself, be easy on yourself. So in moments of challenge, how can you be your own best friend? Spend about another minute here, breathing deeply. feeling deeply, paying a deep and true attention to yourself, like a good friend would. Just 2 more breaths. And then gently lift up. Ooh, that feels good to release that. Ooh, give the legs a little kick, a little wriggle, a little stretch. Do whatever feels good to move around and release. And before we head into our next shape, we're going to take a break. Just a rebound for about a minute to reset into softness. So you can lay all the way down on your back, Savasana, like a complete release. You could come to a seat, child's pose, or lay on your belly. Somewhere where you feel like you can just relax. Let the whole body soften. So take a moment to just be here gently. To breathe softly. And to watch yourself here in this moment. Prepare to move by supporting yourself to deep inhales. And to soften with long exhales. From wherever you are, come back up to a seat. We'll take a forward fold just before we get down to some nice big open stretches. Forward fold, up to you. You can extend both legs straight out in front. That's probably the variation I would recommend. You could take the feet a little farther apart or wider if you like. If you're feeling tense in the lower back or hips, again, that opportunity to sit on a pillow to give yourself a little bit more of a lean forward. Since you're at home, you've got lots of pillows and blankets. You might put a blanket underneath your knees. It's a really nice way to support a soft bend and not overstretch the back of the legs. And then you could put another pillow across the lap in some way, like maybe a big pillow or a bed pillow would be nice. So that as you fold forward, you can rest your elbows, place your head in your hands. And give yourself this little extra lift where your lower back kind of comes up and out of your hips, a tilt of the tailbone back to give some space as you bow forward. This one's called caterpillar pose. And caterpillars aren't rigid, they don't have hard shells, they're quite soft. So think of yourself with this nice little long line through the back of the legs, like a little soft caterpillar. And relax. Soften the back of the legs. Soften the lower back. Maybe even take a breath like you could inflate the lower back with a big inhale. And soften all the tissues right around the lower back and hips. So as you exhale, that softness up and down the edges of the spine. Down, like it could even soften all the way up around the back of the head and up to the forehead, softening there. With as little effort as possible, maintain this shape. And offer yourself some breath. Someone once told me that or feeling loved. Attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. The 4 A's of feeling loved. Attention, affection, and beautiful. I think the most important one is to begin with giving your full attention. Because in a world full of a million stimuli at any moment, to choose to give your attention to someone is such an incredible, powerful feeling. Like of all the million things you can pay attention to is the person you've chosen. So in this effort of Maitri, or unconditional friendliness towards yourself, being your own best friend, can you direct all your attention towards yourself? Paying attention to your body, your breath, your heart, your mind. Paying attention to all the things that are coming up for you, all the feelings and sensations. To yourself. Giving yourself the attention, and just notice how that feels. Stay for just a few more breaths. Take 2 more slow rounds of breath, all the way in and all the way out. And then take your time to gently, slowly, thoughtfully, with care, come out of the shape. Take any movement that you need. Roll through the shoulders, a little twist. Anything that feels good. Shape is going to be lying down on our belly. So before we head there, any movement that you need. And then when you're ready, take your time to gently and slowly walk the knees back, walk the hands forward until you can thoughtfully lower your whole body onto the floor. And we'll spend a moment here in a rebound, opening up after that forward fold. You can put a cheek down on the mat, arms by your sides, or stack your palms and rest your forehead. But find somewhere where you can be still and soft and relaxed. And then breath. While the minutes that we spend are incredibly beneficial for the physical body, for me, I find in between the poses beneficial for the feeling of relaxation, the sense of ease and presence. So linger in that feeling, like you could marinate in these moments of ease. Taking that feeling with you into the rest of the practice and into the rest of your night. When you're ready, extend just get up to show you what it looks like, but you'll stay laying on your belly. So here, the right arm will extend out to the right, and bring the hand up in line with your shoulder. You can bend the elbow if you like, a little cactus, but keep the elbow up high. And place your right cheek down on the mat. Left hand goes under the left shoulder, and press your left hand to roll the left hip and shoulder up into the air. So you're resting on your right cheek, right shoulder, right hip, with the right arm straight out behind you. If you like to bend the knees and squeeze them up towards the chest, you can. If you like to step the left foot up and over, you can do that. Left hand coming to the lower back helps you feel more open through your chest. Please feel free. Stretching out the right side of the chest. So take your time to soften in and feel what it's like to be here. Soften the chest. Soften the breath. How would you treat yourself if you were your own best friend? Space, a little bit more care, trust, and support. How can you offer that to yourself here? Slow, steady breath with your attention here on yourself, body. Just 2 more breaths. And then gently, if your left hand is behind your back, bring it down under your left shoulder as you tip the left shoulder and left hip back down. If you need a moment in the middle to reset, please feel free. A little shake through the hips, stretch through the right arm, get a little blood flow going back if it was feeling weird. And then same other side. As you lay on your chest, left arm goes to the left cheek goes to the mat, and you press through the right hand to roll the left or the right hip and shoulder up as the left hip and shoulder remain down. Knees can stack, right foot can step behind, right hand can come behind. Do what you need to do. And settle in. You might think of this time with yourself here. Like what's been going on with them lately? Like how, not just the superficial stuff, but like your best friend in the whole world. Listen. Spend some time, quality time, full attention, soothing breath. Soften any sense of strain. Make the breath a little bit more gentle. Take your time to breathe. Thoughtfully staying connected to yourself. 3 or 4 more breaths. And then when you're ready, with the right hands behind you, bring it down in front of you. Roll softly onto your belly. And do anything that feels good. A little wriggle, stretch. You can stay flat on your belly. You can roll over onto your back into Savasana. We're meeting there in a little bit anyway. Or you can slide back to child's pose to take your rebound. About a minute to reset, soften, do less, relax more. When you're ready, we'll all meet on our backs. So if you're laying still on your front, just gently roll over. Make sure that your pillow is handy. And as you make your way down onto your back, feel free to rock the knees side to side, take a little wriggle, a reset. When you're ready, we'll set up for our supported bridge pose. Bending your knees, feet underneath the knees. Press your heels down, lift your hips up, and tuck a pillow underneath the lower back and the hips so that the hips are supported. You can use a couple pillows if you feel like it's a bit of a flat, smushy pillow. So you've got a little bit of lift across the front of the hips. Knees can stay bent. You can even knock your knees together for support, or you can extend your legs long. Have this sensation of something in the hips. Notice it. And if the sensation is a pinching or a heat at the lower back, if the sensation is anything even subtle opening across the front of the hips, perfect. And let yourself linger there. Arms can be in whatever is best for you. And see if you can just soften the edges of the shape. And invite a little softness to the breath. And as you watch the breath soften, invite that softness also into the mind. Like the and you can just keep coming back to yourself in this moment. Quality time here, paying attention in your breath. Taking the time to really and listen in. Not listening to respond, but like any good friend, listening to understand. Just tune into the sensations, breath, and aim for a sense of understanding as you listen to the body and the mind. Slow breath, be here, fully and completely attentive. 3 more breaths. If your legs are straight, slowly take your time to slide your heels under your knees. Wherever you are, anchor the whole sole of your foot down on both feet, feeling that groundedness to start to lift the hips enough to remove your prop. Side to side. Setting up for just a gentle twist. Arms can go wide, maybe elbows bent. Knees go off to the left. You can shimmy your hips a little to the right so that your spine stays nice and straight and long. And then just take a few slow breaths here. Just a few more breaths. Take one more really long, full inhale, like it could slide up the spine. And as you exhale, soften the hips and shoulders more. And then inhale to gently lift the knees through center. Take a little shimmy of the hips over to the left so you can drop the knees to the right for your counter twist. Shoulders relaxed, heavy towards the ground. Gaze turns anywhere that feels okay for your neck. And breathe slowly, deeply, generously. Offering the sense of presence, attention, and easy listening in. Just 3 more breaths. Take one more long breath in. Slow and soft exhale breath. Gently lift your knees back through center. Take a little moment to do whatever you need to feel ready for Savasana. You might give the knees a squeeze. You can rock around a little bit for your back massage. You can kick the legs up to the sky. You can give them a little shake. Or take happy baby, knees bent wide, holding the soles of the feet. Anything that feels good in your body. And when you're ready for Shavasana, go ahead and lay nice and flat. You could put a pillow under your head, under your knees. Hands can be as wide as you like. I might suggest palms open as an invitation to keep the chest nice and open. Or you can rest the hands on the body, up to you. Finding a really lovely, soft space for Savasana. And then let's take one more collective breath in together from wherever you are. And send out a big exhale together. And let yourself rest here. I have an inkling that if I were your best friend, I would tell you that it's okay here to take time to rest, to process, to understand, to listen, to feel, but mostly to rest. So in a time that is quite uncertain, be a really good friend to yourself and give yourself just a few minutes to rest here. I'll finish this class in under an hour so you can get back to your day. But just for the next few minutes, give yourself this sense of ease, peace, rest. Let your mind drift. Let your body relax. And just soften. Stay here longer if you have time. But if you're ready, pause for just another moment or two to invite the breath to deepen again. And spend just one more moment before you get up. Feeling this sense of connection that you've built with yourself. Feeling that unconditional friendliness towards yourself arise. As you breathe in deeply to your heart space, feel this sense of openness, understanding, and compassion radiating from your heart space to yourself. This sense of love and attention, acceptance and appreciation. And linger in that feeling so you can take it with you. And then when you're ready, and invite in movement when it feels right. Stretch, wriggle, and eventually squeeze your knees in towards your chest. Wherever you are, take a sincere moment to pause for gratitude. How incredible is it that you can give yourself an hour or whatever amount of time from your day to connect to yourself, to pay attention to yourself? How amazing is that? And how incredible is your body? How wonderful is your mind? An incredible experience to just be in this human body, alive in these weird and wild times. And how cool is it that you can reset to presence through the breath and support yourself through anything? Take a moment to appreciate everything that you have and everything that makes you exactly who you are. And then take your time to come up to a seated position to finish. Kneeling, cross-legged, any comfortable seat. As you come up, hands to Anjali Mudra, the divine offering, hands at heart center in prayer. Let your thumbs press into your sternum in the center of your heart. And let your heart expand back into your thumbs with each breath. Hands in Anjali Mudra, and this greeting of Namaste we say at the end of practice is an acknowledgement of that sense of connection that we have to each other and to ourselves. So take a moment to feel it as you take a breath in, to soften into the space of your heart as you exhale. Thank you sincerely to every single one of you for joining us, for taking the time to connect to yourself and to share this practice virtually through space and time to connect to each other. Thanks for sharing your practice with me and allowing me to guide you through. It's been such an honor and a pleasure. Feel that space in me of connection and unconditional friendliness and love is that same exact place in all of you. In this space, there's no difference between any of us. So to acknowledge the way that we're all connected, we say to each other, Namaste. Have a beautiful night, yogis. Every Saturday night at 6 p.m., I'll be broadcasting a live stream yin class for you here on our YouTube. So feel free to share with anyone you think might benefit. And Nikki will be here on Monday nights, 6:30 for a Vinyasa Level 2 practice. And then if you want more live streams than just the free YouTube, feel free to jump over to our Patreon site. I'll pop the link in the comments. And we'd love for you to join our online community in any capacity. Have a beautiful night. Thank you, yogis. Namaste.